Hey guys, welcome to Conquest Weekly. Uh, this week it's just me and we. Andy's having some technical difficulties. We're hoping that maybe he can figure that out. But in the meantime, we'll push forward and see what we can cover. I'm pretty sure will capture the slack, I guess. How you doing, we? How was your week?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
No complaints. Just snow, Canada. You know how it goes.
Yeah, it
That's
wasn't
life.
that bad though. Slowed down and then disappeared within the week.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did not have to use the shovel. That's key.
That's a good day.
That's right.
Good day.
What about you?
Yeah. So let's see if Andy's not in yet. All right then. So this week we think we're gonna cover some items, the news and stuff. So let's just see. I got a little PowerPoint. So this week our agenda is we're gonna do the weekly roundup, and then some news, and then we're going to do the Battle Tome review. So let's just start with the news. So did you see these Christmas box sets that have come out?
Did I ever?
Yeah. So
and there's a big controversy over the Gloomspite. There's a big controversy over the Gloomspite.
What is it?
Well, the box shows 14 squigs.
Oh, yeah. They had a misprint. That's the really.
It's not a misprint.
What?
That's not a misprint. It's not a misprint. It's what we call a fuck up.
Yes,
that's all it is.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, regardless of what happened with the mess up or whatever, what do you think of the box set? What do you think of the Gloomspite Gifts box set?
I mean, it's all right, I guess. Like, are trolls good? Like, are they ever going to be good?
I don't know. I wish it was just like if it was trolls. I think I wish they just kept it as trolls, maybe with bots or with like regular goblins.
So my thing is Rahul, like the problem is that these are the two things that don't go together, right? Like you put the squigs with regular, goblins, or you do the trolls with the goblins. You don't do these two together. Like
that's what I'm trying to say. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand the mashup here, right? And I don't even understand
if they had an all squig one, that'd be amazing.
Mix because I'm a bit far removed from the Gloomspite Gifts right now, the Battle Tome. But is there like a battalion that's called the Fungal Loon Horde, or do you know?
No, nothing that takes this stuff. No, it's weird. But the other one is weird too. The ogres, right? Like.
But the ogres are the giant is just.
Yeah, what the fuck's this giant? You can't even ally this guy in.
These gargants, these mini gargants, are sold out online, but you can buy them individually in these box sets. I find that really odd.
The most inefficient way of buying giants ever, just buy 26 other ogre models.
I thought it was really I just find it ridiculous. I mean, if you have giants and you need to give them away, at least put them online and let people buy them. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Sons of Behemat players that would love to get their hands on that giants, instead of having it.
So that's my theory, Rahul, is if you buy this box, you just, if you want to play ogres, buy this box and then sell the giant at a premium, and you can recoup a good chunk of money, and then that'll be an Uber discount, right? So, I mean, that would be okay.
But out of all the full boxes, I'd say that Ogre War Tribes was my favorite box, but then I'm partial.
Oh.
So. Then the other two are these ones. So you got the Disciples of the Fatesworn. I don't know. I don't think the Mortal Army is good enough to release a box like this, but maybe in the future, it could be something of value.
Don't hate it, Rahul. Don't hate it.
You get 3 Zangors, either Enlightened or Skyfires, depending on how you build them. You get a God Summoner in there as well, and you get the big boy, which is actually pretty good value, to be honest.
What's the Canadian on that? $250 for the whole thing?
I believe they're retailing. I think in the States for $220 US. So it's
Yeah.
going to be
Well, the big bird himself is not cheap.
no.
So just him, and then Consummate himself is what, $30 or something, $40. Like
Yeah, I
he's
think
not
the
cheap
value of
either.
the
So
box is about
it's not bad.
$350 US, and then it's down to $220. So it's a really good value, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then the KO one, once again, I have no idea. Like I don't know much about
This
the
is the best one.
KO book, but
This is the
uh,
best one.
this is the best one.
Well, because if you're gonna play KO, you're gonna use all this shit. Like it's the most efficient in terms of like models used. Like all the other ones are like, the Gloom Spite. It's like, okay, well, half the box I'm going to use, or the ogres have a random giant that you can't use, right? So it's like this one. It's like, okay, you're always going to use all of these models. Like it doesn't even matter, right? So even these
Yeah,
little baby
so
gun ones, gun
yeah, I
haulers.
mean the one that caught my interest. I mean the Disciples of Zinj caught my interest
Mm-hmm.
because I really love the Arcanite models. I think they're really awesome looking.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
the KO
I'm probably
one,
gonna pick one up.
I'm not a steampunk guy, so I don't really go into the KO world. It's not really big on
Well,
me. As
that's
far as
weird, Rahul.
the more tribes, I have so much more tribes anyway. And I was
Rahul, that's
interested
weird.
in looking at Trogots, but I don't want the squig part of it, so I'm just.
What? Oh, cool. Then we need to do a split season then. Come on. You want to do trolls? I can do squigs. No problem. We'll do double of this box, and then I'll take a buttload of squigs.
Sure,
That's not.
because I want the Trogots to be added to my. Um, so Ivan is saying something. Let's see what he says. Ivan says, and long time and place. If you had to build an army starting with each boss, how would you expand on that? That's a good question, right? Well, it all comes down, I think, to.
So you just take a one box at a time.
No,
That's
I mean,
what he's asking, right?
sorry, if you were to look at like the Gloomspike Gates box, and how would you expand it?
Me?
I mean, that's my problem with the Gloomspike Gates box. I mean, I don't think the two of them mesh well together. You'd actually build like maybe a troll army on one side, and then a squig army on the other side. I don't think there is a valid army coming out of this box.
Yeah.
And the add-ons, I think. So I don't know, but the Ogre Mortribes one is a really good starting.
Nothing. You just buy two of these boxes, you're good. Buy two of these boxes, you got almost everything you need.
Two of these boxes, you're set for ogres.
You're good to go.
You like
you're
the
golden.
foot slug, or you can buy one of these boxes and buy like the get starting box of the Beastball Raiders, and you're set. Like that would be a wicked army to play right off the bat.
If you're playing pure Matra, like a pure ogres, just double this box and you're good.
Two of these and you're set because you get 24 ogre bulls, and you get an eight stack of iron guts, and then you get 8 lead belchers. You get like a solid army here. The only thing you're missing would be a butcher, or a slaughter priest.
A couple characters. Maybe. And you'll need your pot and like whatever, right? Like
so like a couple of small little items, but. If you bought 2 of these box sets, you're pretty solid, and then sell the giants.
As long as you don't, make the scrap launcher. Like as long as you don't make the scrap launcher, that's garbage. Just push it into garbage. Scrap launcher is scrap.
And then for the Zinj box, I mean, Zinj is pretty solid here, even because you're getting the big bird. The big bird in this box makes it very tempting for me. On Summoner as well. I mean, the Arcanites could get. If the new book comes out and turns the Arcanites, you also get Zangors in this too. You get 10 Zangors. Yeah, so it's pretty solid. I mean, it's got a solid body to it. You get 35 miniatures, pretty.
Yeah, I mean, what I would add for the Zinj one is probably to start collecting Zinj. That's an excellent box, just in general.
The Demons one, or?
Yeah, the Demons one. There's only one. Yeah, it's the Demon one, and probably a box of Blues and Brims.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty solid place because you'll need 3 battle line. That way, you'll get your Horrors, you'll get your Arcanites and your Zangor, and then you can kind of go from there. I mean, with this box, you got a lot of mortals, so it kind of makes sense to do more mortal stuff. But if you're playing really competitive, I mean, demons are just
Yeah, I
beautiful,
mean
right?
it's
So
I mean I think the Arcanite models are wicked and the Zangor models are really
yeah,
cool. So if you maybe and GW's meta always shifting. So maybe next
yeah.
year, sometime, maybe this box becomes really hot. You never know, right?
Well, yeah. So that's the problem is that you have to buy it like in the here and the now because it's not going to be available in like a month.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
always what I find about the Christmas boxes is that if you don't act on them right away, you always regret it
yeah.
maybe a bit later.
And
So
it's not like every army gets it every year. You know what I'm saying? It's like which
exactly.
armies are going to be the lucky few. And no Stormcast this year, right?
Yeah,
You know
this is
what
the
I'm saying?
first year
Like,
there's no Stormcast. So
yeah, I know.
pretty good. Pretty good. I like it.
Pretty
I like
good.
it.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Me
You do hate
GW's
Stormcast.
leaving the Stormcast bandwagon. That's okay. All right, and then
Hmm.
moving on. Look at this stuff, man.
Oh,
Jeez.
who's that?
This is the new Sigvald and the Slanesh Mortal Army that are coming out. So this is
Who is Sigvald?
Sigvald. You don't remember Sigvald from the old world? He was the
Listen,
mortal hero for Slanesh.
What is it? What does that even mean? What is the old world? I don't even know what the old world is.
Warhammer Fantasy,
It's,
my friend.
yeah,
But
but
they're
what did he
using
do
the
in
sculpt. He
Warhammer
looks
Fantasy?
amazing in this one. And then they got these new, so the Slanesh models are coming out.
Yeah,
So there's gonna be a whole new book that's coming out, right?
that was the glaring thing with the Slanesh like Edenite's book was that there were no mortal units. Like with Khorne, they got the new
Yeah.
Blood Reavers and all that stuff, and Blood Warriors, and like Tzeentch has obviously the Carrick Acolytes and shit, and Nurgle has the Blade Lord, the Blade Kings. But
Yeah.
then there was nothing for Slanesh. It was just like just more Hellstriders. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
It's
so
weird.
I think there's a new Slanesh army build that's coming out, and then
Yeah, it's
yeah,
gotta
so
be.
they released like images. The images that they released are for, they got Sigval, they got this core unit, I believe, of warriors. I think they call them Myrmindesh Pinbringers, and then you got these Simbaresh Twin Souls.
Yeah, that's the other build.
Yeah, and then there's this Underworld's Warband that came out as well.
Yeah, that's coming in. That's for Underworlds. Yeah, and that gives you a kind of sense of maybe other unit styles because those units don't really all fit into the aesthetic of the other units, right? So like
Yeah,
these ladies here, right, with their sexy but deadly look, is not what's there. That's a very heavily armored look, right? And then this like weird goat guy with like crab arm that doesn't fit any of that stuff, right? So that's got to be a different unit as well, right? So you'd expect that this is basically like 3 different units that are in here, at least, right?
well,
Maybe there's a
yeah, we'll
shooting
see.
unit.
I mean, I'm excited because the sculpts are just awesome. Like,
I know.
like look at the models are just like after the goat army that came out. I mean, I'm happy with it.
You love goats.
I hate
You and goats.
them.
You love goats, bro. You're all
I
about
don't like
goats.
them at
That
all.
goat
I've
love.
never liked that. I was so pumped for Teclis, and actually, I'm more pumped for Tyrion when he comes out because I'm really just waiting. But
Oh, and then you're
Teclis,
like,
I
oh,
don't know.
what's with his
I
face?
just and I think there's a lot of people that sit like 50% that love it and 50% that don't like it. I'm in the 50% that just don't like those models.
Well, just admit it. It's because you hate Richard Joshua's paint job. That's why. Like you're like a hater on
It's
his paint
got
job.
nothing to do with Richard
Like
Joshua.
you're just like, it
Anyway,
makes it so
moving
ugly. I
on, moving
actively hate
on.
it.
So yeah, so I mean, I just wanted to share some of this stuff that I found online. Was there anything
Yeah.
else you want to add in the news or from the news?
In the news, I mean, yeah, I mean, like there's this preview model on Warhammer Community for also for Shadespire that is for the Seraphon. It's like this dude, like what do they call it? He's got a ball like this. What are those guys called? The little magical dudes. Anyways,
Skink?
looks pretty cool, huh?
Is it skink?
Well, yeah, Skink War Priest or something, or Skink Star
Oh,
Priest or
skink.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he's
I
got a
didn't know
ball.
that came out. Where was that?
No, it's on Warhammer Community today.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
Well, yeah. I didn't look at it today. I looked at it yesterday. So
Yeah, no, it's fine. But like, he's got a little Pokeball. So
Yeah.
wonder what that Pokeball has.
Huh. Interesting.
Maybe that's the new mechanic they have. They roll a Pokeball out, and then their Carnosaur comes out. Boom. Take that.
Sure. I'll leave that.
Would you? Huh? Think about it. That Charmeleon comes out. Bam. Take it in the face, Rahul.
Yeah.
Oh, right, we all know Seraphon
Ivan
need more
is
stuff.
online with us, and Yuri's online with us. Yeah. Hey guys,
Yuri.
Thanks for joining us tonight. So let's get into this battle tome.
Okay.
So let's go into here. So yeah, so Sons of Behemat. It's the big boys. So let's talk about it as a whole. What do you think of the whole big Gargants coming in and the army in general? What do you think?
Me, I think it's fantastic. Aesthetically, nothing in the game looks like them. Nothing in the game plays like them, and nothing in the game, I think, like it's like, oh well, Sons of Behemat, what do they bring? Like, no, they're totally different. So I like it, and I love that. They are really kind of so expressive, but then like there's so much you can kind of do to mod them up to whatever way that you like, right? So they lend themselves to conversions, beautiful paint jobs, and then you kind of need the Imperial Knights of Age of Sigmar, right? Where it's like low model count type armies that there's some people that just love painting enormous things, and they want to play an army of just ginormous like things.
Well, I mean, the model count is low. That's one
very
thing,
low,
right? So it's I think it's easy entry. I do think that the price point is high for this army.
So dollar-wise,
it is pretty high, and also the fact that like the core unit is sold out right now, it makes it a little bit of a bummer. But
totally.
In terms of, I didn't go through much of the fluff. I'm not really a fluff kind of guy, and maybe Andy did, but Andy's not on tonight. So, but did you go through any of the fluff or?
No. I'm a 1 out of 10 on fluff.
So I think we'll just get into the army so what we have on screen right now is the allegiance abilities. So obviously you can break down the battle tome or the actual Sons of Behemat armies into 3 different types. You have the Kraken Eater that can be in the Taker tribe. You have the War Stomper, which is in the Stomper tribe, and the Gatebreaker, which is in the Breaker tribe. And then there's only one. So really, there's only 4 War Scrolls to this army, right?
No allies and no battalions.
So there's not much to this army. To learn this army inside out is pretty quick. So it was kind of easy to go through the book. So the way I did it here was I looked at. We're going to go through the 3 different tribes, but before we did that, I just looked at battle line unit. This is the battle line unit. It's the Mancrusher Gargants. You can take them as units of 1 or units of 3. If you take a unit of 3, that counts as all 3 of your battle line, right? So if you take 1 unit of 3, it's just all 3 of battle line is resolved in the army. So that's pretty cool.
That's right.
They're pretty. I mean, they hit like a ton of breaks, which is what they should when they're a low model count army. And they have a whole bunch of wounds. But nothing. There's no real subtlety to this army, in my opinion. It just comes up and hits you as hard as it can. And yes, within the Mega Gargants there is some tactics, but with the actual Mancrusher Gargants, I don't think there's a lot of real tactics.
Okay, just to answer the question, Andy can't because technological reasons. When you live in God knows where, internet comes by snail mail, right? So that's the problem. So he's having technical issues. Rahul, I have to disagree with you, basically.
Okay.
So what I'll tell you is this. Number 1, they don't hit that hard. I mean, I'm scared much more of Flesh-Eating Hordes, Iron Jaws, like those, like that. Those guys will come in and just like Shoryuken a unit and just like red mist the whole unit, right? Whereas Mega Guardian comes in, it's not like they're going to like red mist something. Like they'll hit pretty good, but it's not red mist, let's say, right? So they're not like the most explosive, like dead, killing thing. And because of that, they're actually a lot more tricksy than they seem, right? Like that to win the game, they need to rely on not killing everything, but being more tricksy, right? And which is like, in my opinion, more about like kicking objectives around, outnumbering people.
Yeah, but that's
right?
the Mega Guardian itself, right? I'm not talking about the army as a whole. I'm talking about the battle line.
Man Crushers?
Yeah.
Well, the Man Crushers too. Like the Man Crushers themselves. I mean, what are they? 10 a model, right? Like
yeah,
that's still useful, right? So like it's.
Very
I mean, the army itself is.
I mean, they are the equivalent of a Frost Lord on Thunder Tusk, right? Or on Stormhorn, right? They have that ability, right?
I don't know. I'm pretty afraid of Stormhorn. Like, I'm not that afraid of them. I mean, they're good, but like they're not like super duper scary. Like, but yeah, I mean, sure. Okay, so we're talking mostly about these guys specifically, not the army. Okay. Oh yeah.
I'm right now. I'm just talking about the battle line units. We can talk as the army as a whole when we go through the different tribes, right? But for now, what I was looking at was
just these guys. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So just give me a second. I'm trying to get that. I think Levin might be able to join us on.
They said Yuri.
Oh, Yuri. Sorry, Yuri might be able to join us on live. So I'm just gonna try and get him in here. That takes a second here. Sorry about that. Yeah. So anyway, with that, I mean, we can go into the Taker tribe, which was the part we're looking into. So tell me your thoughts on this tribe while I sort it out.
Yeah, sure. So the Taker tribe is interesting. Well, number one, they have this. They've basically taken the equivalency of. So when they get on objectives, they count as a lot more models, like the Gargants do, in general. And the Taker tribe is even more than. It increases that number, right? So I meant like the Kraken Eater is basically, instead of just 20 models, it's 30 models, I want to say, right? And the regular dudes, Man Crushers, they count as 15 per, right? So, yeah, that's right. So they count as 30 instead of 20 or so, right? And they got this other rule. If you kill an enemy wielding an artifact, you get to roll a triumph. Okay, whatever, who cares? It's not a big deal. But there's a very good. So I like this allegiance ability, I guess, or this ability, this build Taker tribe, because it's increasing this big competitive advantage it has, which is 1 million models on an objective, right? So, do we have someone?
No? Yeah, I'm just getting Yuri on here. Give me 1 second here. And Yuri. Hey, Yuri. Welcome to the chat,
Yuri.
my friend. How are you? Can you hear us?
Oh, he's muted, or I can't hear him.
Yuri, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
We cannot hear you. Are you sure you're not muted?
Oh, I think no. I'm not muted on this side.
Yeah, but is he muted on his end? Is he even wearing pants?
Yeah, he's saying give him 1 minute.
1 minute. Oh, time's money here, man. Come on. So so that's kind of like generally the Kraken Eater, the Taker tribe I say Kraken Eater just because there's 3 Mega Gargants, and whichever Mega Gargant you take as your general is basically the tribe that you're in. So to take your tribe, you got to have a Kraken Eater general. Yuri can shake his head if I'm really wrong here, but so like these like the tribe that you're in is basically based on the general that you select, right? So
yeah.
So that's the rules of the tribe, as it were.
Hey Yuri.
I think I hear something.
I think we got you, Yuri. Say hi, Yuri.
Hi,
hello.
can you hear me?
Hey, there you go. We can hear you now.
I can hear you.
Finally,
Beautiful.
yes.
Oh my
You
goodness.
gotta turn up your volume a bit, though.
Up? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Rahul's computer. It's not fast enough.
Whatever.
Yeah, let me... Yeah.
My computer is fast enough. What are you talking about? What you talking about?
Yeah, I'll try to talk louder. Can you hear me, guys? Well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a privilege to be among legends. So
Legends.
Whoa.
Oh, there. Easy there, Tiger. We're not legends. Yeah. You're the legend right now.
Listen, the funny story. So believe it or not, I'm in Halifax right now, and I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And guess which battle tome did I take with me?
Sons of Behemat.
Sons of Behemat.
Right. So it's
look
forward to
that. Yuri's all prepared. All right. Well, yeah. So Yuri, we're listening to we go through his take on the Taker tribe. I think you play a lot of Taker tribe, don't you?
Yes. That's essentially my favorite tribe to go.
It's the best one.
Yeah. Unless you take lots of mini giants, then you would probably go with a War Stomper. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. So let's see. We said that he's taking Taker tribe, and then I think the Taker tribe is the one where you can kick the objective, correct?
The Kraken Eater can do it.
Yeah, regardless of the tribe.
Yeah, but
that's right.
He's the general of the Taker tribe, right? Like you take him.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
General, like that. That's a qualifying factor to be taking a Taker tribe, right?
Oh, maybe you can pull up my list then, Rahul, and Yuri can have a look and see how much he hates it or agrees with it.
Yeah. So before we go into that, like, what artifact did you give your guy?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, artifact? I gave a glowy lantern because I want him to be a wizard. I want to be able to play and stop things.
Yeah, that would be a wise choice.
Because there's no magic users other than the guy with the glowy lantern.
Yeah.
But I put it on not the general. So I have 2 Mega Guardians.
Okay, so your list.
Do you have 2 or 3?
Oh. You have 2 Kraken Eater Mega Gargants.
Oh yeah, I have 3 Mega Guardians. That's right. Yeah, I have 2 Kraken ones because I want to kick objectives around a lot.
Yeah, but you don't need the Kraken guy to kick the objectives. He gives that ability to War Stompers too, right? He gives that ability to Man Crushers too.
Huh? No, only the Kraken Eater can kick the objective. No one else.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
And it comes from his ability from the War Scroll. However, you can take a command trait.
Yeah. Okay.
You can take the command trait that is called Strong Right Foot, and instead of 2d6, you can do 3d6.
Yeah.
That's what
but it still has to be the Kraken Eater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Such a powerful ability that I thought, okay, I definitely need to lean into that ability. That's why I took 2 Kraken Eaters, even though they are the softest hitting of the Mega Gargants, by far the weakest ones in terms of killing stuff. That ability, okay, let me just juice that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
What do you think, Yuri? So Yuri, if you see my list, How is yours different?
That,
or how?
I actually really like your list. The only thing that I would change, but it a personal taste. I think in the magic heavy meta, there is no. It's essentially a very would be a useless thing to take the artifact to make one of them a caster, because it's just not gonna go off when you have Tackless, when you have Nagash, when you have other wizard. What the artifact that I like to take, it's called Krakensteel Sandals.
Yes.
Where you increase the damage on one of the weapons, right? And I think this thing makes him more reliable. But I've heard otherwise. I've heard many people like making him a wizard and getting the shot to potentially unbind the critical spell or the endless spell. I personally, when I go with these guys, I go to the brute force, and I want them to be as reliable as possible in dealing the damage output. With regards to the command trait, sorry.
Yeah. No, but imagine if you didn't have the FAQ saying you can't walk over endless spells. You'd be like, all right, I definitely need this ability.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can walk over endless spells, you're a little bit less worried about them, right? So
I think Michael Grove online, and Michael Grove has an interesting question, and I didn't look into the Bone Grinder. Bone Grinder is one of the gargants that's available from Forge World.
Yeah, that's the only one from Forge World. Yeah.
Have you looked into the Bone Grinder from Forge World?
I looked at his scroll. I don't think he's really worthwhile.
They updated the word scroll. Yeah.
Yeah. To allow him to come in.
Scroll for this guy. However, when I pick the army, aesthetics is an important thing for me.
Yeah.
And when you have these three guys, I mean, the Forge World model, it's just, it's no go for me.
It's really funny that we talk about Forge World being the underdog when it comes to models now. Because back in the day, Forge World was like, Forge World, the models were just like upper, at the upper level, right? So to talk about Forge World as being a subpar model is kind of odd to hear today, right? But
I hear you.
Yeah. So I mean, Yuri likes your list a lot.
You're free to just take that list, Yuri.
Yeah. I mean, I like all the. I think all the artifacts and command traits are very playable and potentially add value to the list. I just wanted to get your perspective, in terms of. I'm also very hesitant between the strong right foot command trait that allows you kick objectives further, and another one that I really like is called extremely intimidating, which gives -1 aura to hit for the nearby enemy units. What do you think about this one?
So I think I think that's a very close one for me as well. Those are the best ones, really, out of all of these artifacts, right? For Kraken Eater, and I kind of worried about it because situationally it may be less important, especially when you have shooting armies that just blow you up, right? So they're gonna just drop down KO Zinch. So, but close combat, you get a monster that just comes in and blenderizes stuff from Iron Jaws or from Flesh Eaters, then you're just like, okay, well, the -1 was going to be very important, right? But I just thought, okay, well, I just can't do too much about it anyways. I mean, they're going to probably mess me up pretty bad no matter what. So I'm like, okay, well, if they're going to mess me up, just explode me, and that's fine, right? But getting this bigger kick can really move things quite a bit. 3 to 6 is such a huge difference, right? So, and it's an objective game, so I prioritize the objective. part, right? So
cool, fair enough.
Yeah, but I mean, like depends on what you play against too, right? Like if it's all if there's no shooting,
True.
it's all like just like things, and it's like okay, well maybe I'm better off with a -1, right? Yeah.
But when you go to the tournament, you don't know, right? The combination.
You never know what's going to be there is the problem, and you never know what you'll face when you're there, right? So like
exactly.
That's the problem.
Perfect.
Could be a bunch of filth.
Yuri, how many games have you played with your? I guess is it Take a Tribe? How many games?
No, yeah, I've tried different ones. Overall, I think I've had 5 or 6 games.
Okay.
And I played and I mixed it, right? I tried each tribe and different the combination of different artifacts and command traits, and we played against different army, like shooting army, horde army, tanky army like Beastclaw Raiders, and actually, those the Sons of Behemoth performed really well. I find them to be more competitive than many people think. Obviously, it's not an S tier army, but it could be a very competitive army too if you play smart.
So which army has given you the hardest time so far?
Shooting army for sure. The cities list.
The cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense though. I mean, I think. Have you played any army that has a lot of high output spells?
Well, Nagash.
Yeah.
The OBR. We actually issued the battle report today against Tackless as well.
Yeah, I watched that today already.
Yeah.
Pretty. I don't know if the build was right though. I'm not too convinced.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was it's. I would be very interested to see you going up against the like a Zinj army, like a fully fledged Zinj army with lots of spells. That would be very interesting because even the pink horrors, like they die in groves, but they can stick around if and that may cause a problem, right? If you get bogged down, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I had actually a game against Zinj.
Yeah.
I played Christian, our teammate. I took the Gargant, the Gatebreaker, as a mercenary.
Okay.
And he had Archeon, and Archeon killed the Mega Gargant in turn 1, and that's it.
Yeah.
He even couldn't hit back.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
did Archeon swing twice, or you just swung once?
I think he swung once.
Okay.
He used the ability to swing twice, but I think he swung once, and it was game over.
Yeah. So anyway, it'd be interesting to see. Like I've been watching a lot of your battle reports. I like them. They're lots of fun.
Yes.
So been watching a lot of your battle reports. Yeah, pretty cool. So
you know what list you should play against there, Yuri? This filth corn army. Ugh.
Oh yeah. That's actually was in our pipeline, but due to COVID restriction, we'll definitely need to have a game by all means.
I mean, the corn players are all duckers, anyways. They all duck everywhere.
I don't know if the corn army has enough, but what I can do is I can put a lot of bodies down between you and objectives. I think like single bodies that you have to go through, like so stacking.
Yeah.
Which will cause you maybe a little bit of pain, but I don't know. We'll have to play that out. Be very interesting.
You could definitely speed bump this army, and it would be a pain in the ass for them.
That's what I mean. I have nine Koborats and 3 units of Reavers in that list, and then I have the 9 Juggernauts behind them.
Yeah.
I have 2 of the Slaughter Priests, so I have a lot of things that I can put in the way. And even though you step over the judgments, if you cannot land behind the judgment, you cannot pretty much I can actually block you out. I was thinking about it in a very tactical way. Even though you can walk over judgments, you can't land behind the judgment if you cannot place the model without being on top of the judgment. Correct? So I can kind of space it so that there's enough of a gap where I get distance between you and it blocks you. So there's a way to actually do So where it gets pretty interesting.
Yeah. And it's not only the finishing the move on top of the model, you have to finish the move outside of 3 as well, right? So
Yeah.
it creates
when it's enemy models, but judgments you don't care.
Yeah, but the thing is, the judgment can be placed.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
that it
yes.
could be like, if you cross the judgment, you would be within 3 inches of a model, and if you didn't cross the judgment, you have to stay behind it. So it could be that it could become very interesting when you play tactically that way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so I got the Breaker Tribe. So Breaker Tribe, obviously, the main Gargant, the Mega Gargant is the Gatebreaker. So his fun ability is the ability to raise down terrain.
Yeah.
And so it's really good against, I think, certain armies that have very integral terrain. For example, OBR. I was thinking about it. Like if you hit the OBR terrain and you took it off in the first or second turn, it could, potentially cause a little bit of problems there. Also, any units that hide within terrain could be in trouble. But based on the rules, and these are the Breaker Tribe rules right here. So you get to choose one of the hate fuel wreckers, right? And this goes towards the whole army as a whole, right? Um, and for this one, I actually chose the cloud one because I was thinking to myself, no, sorry, I went for the shiny ons one, which was you add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units with this ability that target a unit with safe characteristics of 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that is not a hero or monster. So it makes it good at killing things like juggernauts or any of the big cavalry models or anything that's on a 2+ save or 3+ save. It makes it better at hitting them, which is quite a few things I thought. And then I believe as for the command trait, I took louder than words. So I add 2 to the attack characteristic of the general's Fort Crusher flail. And obviously for the artifact, I took the Enchanted Portcullis. So, give yourself feel no pain or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, makes him more survivable.
Yeah, so that was the combo that I put onto my general. I didn't really split the artifact away from him. I just left it on him, and this is pretty much. I didn't see taking more than just one gatebreaker, and because I was actually looking at probably building this army, and the fact that the Man Crusher Gargants are out of stock. Technically, I would rather actually take 6 Man Crusher Gargants and maybe 1 Kraken Eater. That would probably be my list. But built on reality of what I could get today, this was the list that I came up with. It's always cool to have 3 of the models. But I think if I was to look at this a little bit more competitively, I'd probably take a Gatebreaker, a Kraken Eater, and then 2 units of 3 Man Crusher Gargants. Probably as my army. But I don't see. I'm not saying that this. I think the Taker list that we has is a little bit more competitive than this one. Maybe. I think it really comes down to scenario and who you're facing. But he could get pretty interesting when he starts taking out terrain. So I don't know.
Yeah. Rahul, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share your thoughts? Why would you take a unit of 3 Man Crusher versus having them separately? And how important do you think for this army is to have a low drop army in general?
A low drop army, I think, is the same drops no matter which way. I mean, I know what you're saying. Like if you take single Man Crusher Gargants, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
My main thing is the points, right? Like I think you can fit only 2 singles. If I took that way, or could I fit all 3?
You could fit more. You could
fit all 3. Yeah.
Yeah. You could take 1 unit of 3 and then fit another unit, single units of 3, right? So 3 single man units, 1 unit of 3, and then 2 of the Mega Gargants. Is that what you're saying?
No.
What are you?
I think you're saying instead of taking the 3, you just take 3 units of 1.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if 3 units of 1 is as effective, right? Because I believe the way he smashes terrain is he adds the units. Let's see. In addition, you pick one feature of terrain.
No, this guy smashes on 2+ when he's not bracketed, regardless.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how well the the Man Crusher Gargants hold up on their own.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm asking is because on one of the game, when there were multiple objectives, I really felt that I needed to separate them into 3 units instead of keeping as 1. They still count as 10 model each.
Yeah.
So in multiple objective, I find that this army may suffer.
Well, I think what the way I do it then is I take a Gatebreaker, a Kraken Eater, 1 unit of 3 Man Crusher Gargants, and then 3 single units of Man Crusher Gargants. That's probably how I would do it. To give yourself some flanking forces, so 3 single models that can go down the flank, and then the 2 anchors with the 3 men in the middle. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I haven't played this army yet. But this army is super competitive because, like we said, it is an objective-based game, and these guys just number so much on objectives, right? So it's almost like you don't really have to do a lot of work. You just have to touch an objective, and the opponent has to push you off that objective, right? So
it's so hard. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of models. Like, I played Skaven, and it's just like fitting in that many models, like say 30 models onto an objective. That takes a lot of like 25 millimeter, bases that are purposefully just crowding that objective, right? Like, it's not easy.
Yeah, the model is got limited footage, right? Because even when you take 30 Skaven models, you open up a wide footprint, so someone could hit you back on at multiple levels, right? Whereas with this guy, he's got one singular round base, almost like the whatever, I forget the name now, from the Iron Jaws. Whatever.
Maw Crusher?
Yeah, the Maw Crusher. Sorry. So I mean,
test.
Sorry, buddy. I have like 4 of them downstairs. But when you look at that round base, right, there's only so much that you can cover around it to fight back, right? Whereas when you look at 30 Skaven rats and you crowd them on objectives, it opens up a lot of frontage, so you can get hit on multiple sides, right? So I find that these guys are so effective at like 20 models or 30 models sitting on an objective is crazy. It'd be very
Right. Well, one benefit to Rahul is you have to think about is they're fully effective even if they just barely graze a unit, because it's only one model, right? So like, you have your unit of 9 skull crushers, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if I tag just the corner of 1 at the very end, and then you're only piling in 3? So like you're really, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to get a lot of meat to you.
Yeah, but that's like if you were able to tag my 9 skull crushers, I played my list really badly, because I can see you coming, right? It's not like you're sneaky. It's not like you got multiple angles that you're coming at me, right? It's just it's like 3 big models coming at me and a couple of small guys. It's very easy for me to figure out what I'm going to hit with my Juggernaut.
No, but it's the same thing with your Corgis, right? Like, your Corgis come in and they just tag just like the end of, like, they're just trying to find the minimum number of that can come back at them, right? Like, because they're still fully effective, but like, as long as they don't go into the belly of the beast of a 40-man unit or something, of Marauders or something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Then right? So like they're looking for the smallest contact point, really, right?
Yeah, tagging is very effective in the game.
Yeah.
And especially with on the Gargant, he can cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
100%.
So, Andy's not here to talk about his list, but maybe we pull it up and Yuri, you can give your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so Andy got the Stomper Tribe. So Yuri, can you tell us about the Stomper Tribe a bit?
Yeah, I was actually afraid for this question because this is a type of tribe that I've never played, and the reason why I haven't played it because this is a type of tribe when you take one mega, which is the war stomper, and the rest are mini gargants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I find that in theory that would be the most competitive SOB list in general because it has lots of synergies. It makes little guys more consistent.
Yeah,
You'll get more.
all the command traits they get a shit ton of command traits here.
Yeah.
And they all affect your mini guys, right?
Yeah. And you'll get more buddies on the battlefield.
But despite that, you don't want to take this tribe though.
No, I think this tribe is probably the most effective tribe, to be honest.
No. Still disagree. Takers.
No, I don't. I think Takers
is the best.
No, I don't think so.
Rule. You're underestimating the power of kicking a ball around.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it in action. I've watched so many battle reports now.
Yeah, Takers is the best.
I love your enthusiasm, but I still say that this would probably be all-comers list, this Stomper Tribes Army. Because the command traits that you get with this guy are very beneficial to your Man-Crusher Gargants. And your Man-Crusher Gargants cover a lot of ground in this list.
Yeah. Another thing to note for the math sake, let's see how many little guys you can fit. If you take a unit of 3, you can take 1 mega and 9 small guys.
Yeah, so what Andy did, Andy took a War Stomper Mega Gargant, which is obviously a general, and then he took Monstrously Tough. So what does that mean? Monstrously Tough. The general wounds characteristic is 40 instead of 35, which is okay.
Yep.
And then he took the artifacts Club of the First Oak. Club of the First Oak is in your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to the bearer. I don't know if that's a really good. In addition, if the bearer is slain, see, I rather do Ironweld Cestus, which is reroll all save rolls, which I think is better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
First Oak. So
Andy's too nice. That's what we have to remember. Andy's too nice of a player.
Yeah, Andy.
He's not filth. Rahul.
And then if I was to take the command trait, I'd take number 5, which is very shouty, because that one gives me D3 extra command points. So I would start with a few more command points because there's so many command abilities in this list. So you need
excellent point.
Yeah. So that's the way I'd build this list. With the command trait would be very shouty, which would give me D3 extra command points, and then I'll take the Ironwell Cestus, which means I'm rerolling all my saves, which is great. And then I don't mind this list actually. You got 5 little guys, and you get 2 Mega Gargants here as well.
It's no taker though. It's no taker though, Rahul. That's the only problem. Takers is the best. I'm sorry.
Until you play the Wii, I'm not talking to you.
What? That can't be the rule, because then we end up with 1,000 armies.
Come on, man.
The guy that does play the army never plays War Stompers.
At least you'll have some people to look after your mammoth.
Listen,
the mammoth will have some.
The mammoth had its time in the sun. It's retired. It lived a good life.
That beautiful mammoth of yours. Yeah, so I don't know this. But the problem right now, this is where I'm really frustrated because I really want to build 9 Man-Crusher Gargants and have all 3 of them, But you can't buy the Man-Crusher Gargants right now, and it's really like a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I really would like to run a series of 9 Gargants with one.
Oh, you just got to convert them, man.
From what?
Oh.
From the Jabba Slide? Or the Beast of Chaos stuff?
He's a tree man. Done.
I can make them out of Drycha.
No, Drycha's too cool. Get out of here.
Yeah,
This is awesome.
Like the tree guys, nah. There's nothing that comes close to looking like these guys.
With the Mega Stompers, you mean? No, you're talking about the Man Crushers.
I'm talking about the Man Crusher Gargants. Like, what would you do as conversions for them? That'd be interesting. Maybe something I'll look into.
Well, there's so many conversions.
Yeah.
I've seen people using the Beast of Chaos, the Gorgon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one. Well, for Mega though, right?
Too.
Or no?
Yeah. For the small ones.
Yeah.
For the small one? Okay, yeah. A really muscular version.
Yeah. There are cool Nurgle conversions as well.
That's true. Yeah, Yuri. If you could like convert your dream conversion for one of these guys, what would you do?
Probably Nurgle.
A Nurgle one? So what would you take? Like a Glockin
probably.
Or something? What would
I would probably take it would be a combination. Probably the Great Unclean one. Do something with the belly and the head and What's the thing about it?
From the big boy from Nurgle, the mortal.
Glockin?
Yeah, the Glockin. Like he would make a interesting like.
So demony though. These guys, the Great Unclean one and the Glockin's so demony.
He's so huge. He's a beautiful Mega Gargant.
No, the best one is obviously Rahul, a Vermin Lord. Okay, come on. He's big.
Oh wait, not for Mega Gargant.
Yeah.
Not
for a regular Gargant.
At all.
For a regular Gargant. Why not?
It'd be like it'd be like the twig of the Mega Gargant. So it'd be like
what? No.
Front of the litter. Like,
he's pretty big. A regular Vermin Lord's pretty big.
I can see that actually.
What?
No, I think it'd be okay.
The Vermin Lord. You guys.
Vermin Lord.
You know what I would do as a Mega Gargant if I was doing
not a Mega Gargant, for just the regular Man Crushers.
Man Crushers, yeah, sure. But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's so weird. Next thing you'll be telling me you'll take a Lumineth goat mountain goat guy. Like, yeah, I knew you
could. I would.
No, you know what would be really cool is you take the for Mega Gargant, I would take the corn exalted corn greater demon, and without the wings. If I took a Mega Gargant, that's what I would do. If it was
that could be cool actually.
Got size to him, you know.
It's enormous. That guy's enormous.
Yeah, that's the Mega Gargant to me.
That's a Mega Gargant? Oh my god.
That's what I would do.
Why not just take Smog and then give him a belly and then done?
No, we're not talking about dragons here. Come on. If I was doing that, I'd think of magma dragon, and that's it.
That's right. So Yuri, we have to settle this thing from last time we talked last week about the FAQ on the Sons of Behemat. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, for sure.
They have this.
Yeah, I do.
From the designer's commentary about flipping the rules of the objective grabbing. So
yes,
I don't know if you remember this rule where the designer's commentary said that they're allowed to change that rule anytime they want.
I went through Warhammer Weekly's breakdown, and he agrees with you, and everyone agrees with you that that's rules as written. That means
that's correct.
While you're playing Places of Arcane Power and you meet a demon player, you can just say, you win, I walk away from the table, right?
No, you can draw. You can get a draw.
You can't. 0-0. He just has to get 1 point. That's it. What's wrong with you?
But why'd you go 0-0 in that rule?
So
0-0.
Like Vince said, if somebody did that to him, you'd call him a couple of names and walk away from the table. And I agree. I would call him a couple of names and walk away from the table. Because
I'm just saying,
that's fine. If you want to win on that way, then go ahead. Like there's nothing I can do about it. Like there's absolutely nothing me as a player in AOS can do about it because rules as written, you are correct. That's how it's written. Yeah. So
it's so fucked, right? Like
if Yuri wants to win that way, that's fine.
But let's say, but like if you were, let's say, like final round, like top table LVO. And like the guy plays Sons of Behemat, you'd be like, All right, that's fair. I mean, this is for all the marbles. You know what I'm saying? Like, win by any means necessary.
I mean, he could definitely he'd win, but at the end of the day, I think the tournament organizers, whoever the tournament organizers are, they're going to rule against. They have to make a ruling on this. So
I don't see how they can. I mean, that's the problem.
They can. I mean, any tournament organizer has the ability to override certain things, right?
Yeah, they can, but I think the fix is easy. You just say you get to change it once, right? Like you either decide to play it that way or you play it like the normal way, right? And then that be done with it,
but
right?
Like the Sons of Behemoth is ever going to say he's going to play it the normal way. Like he cannot win. The Sons of Behemoth player cannot say he's going to play it the normal way because the chances of him winning are slim to none. Right?
No, the normal way, as in with the bodies on, the normal objective grabbing way. Yeah, that's the way.
At that point, there's no real variation to the game. So
only for that army.
Anyone who's going to build armies for tournament for tournament play, is at a disadvantage. Because what you're saying is, when we build a list, like when I build a list to go to the tournament, I always look at, well, can I do every scenario? Can I play every scenario effectively? Or to effectively to a certain degree, right? What you're effectively saying when you're Sons of Behemoth player is that you don't have to worry about the scenario at all. You can just play your game no matter what. You change.
I would disagree. I disagree.
What do you mean?
I disagree because there's a lot of games where there's 8 objectives or 1 billion objectives, and it's you only can be on so many things at one time, and that's a big problem because it's there's 4 and 4.
I watched him play against 8 objectives this afternoon, and he kicked 3 of the objectives over to one side and made a clusterfuck of objectives. So you have a mechanic that helps you with that scenario.
Not if you're a Warstopper, though, Rahul.
We just stop the trolling and let's build for a second, right?
But I'm just saying that it's not maybe the way that you grab it, but it's.
I'm saying, as an army, you already have a built-in mechanic to counter that, right? Yeah. So it's not like the army is lacking. So yes,
no, I think it's great. I think it's a great army.
Every Sons of Behemoth player, if he was building a tournament list, would look to put in a Kraken guy in the list because he has to balance that effect coming up in any scenario, right? So there is a mechanic in the army built in to take care of that scenario. So the fact that you have to change the actual scenario just to become mundane, I think, is wrong for the game itself. Because every army out there has positives and negatives. What the Sons of Behemoth, what this designer's commentary says, is Sons of Behemoth can change any negative that they have to a positive at any time they want in a scenario.
Yeah, I think we all agree that this rule is just the way that they've written this is completely not good. This is BS. But the ability to turn it to a normal game, that's necessary for this army. Because if you didn't have that, you auto lose these other scenarios, right?
No, you still got heroes. It's a hero or wizard capture objective.
You're basically auto losing though, right?
No, it says hero or wizard can auto capture an objective, right? So what happens is, when I look at Son of Behemoth army, you need to take 2 heroes in every list. If you don't have 2 heroes in every list, you're giving yourself an opportunity to lose. Because with 2 heroes, you can effectively, Place of Arcane Power is only 3 objectives. So you have to dominate 2. We all know that, right? You take 2, you win 2. That's how you win the game. So if you're playing Place of Arcane Power and you're playing a traditional method, like the actual rules, you have 2 heroes. Those heroes count as 35 models. You outplay any hero in your class, right?
No. Other heroes will fuck them up. That's the problem.
Who?
Makrasha?
No, but then what you're saying then is the rest of your army is doing nothing to protect them.
You don't have much of rest of an army. You have
you have 5,
6 dudes.
You have 5 other Gargants. So basically,
I get red misted as well.
This is okay. So if I was playing Places of Arcane Power, Places of Arcane Power, and I had 5 of the little giants and 2 of the big guys, right?
Yeah.
I'll send my Krakenator on the whichever flank I want it. I'll send him up, run him up, and kick that objective towards the middle.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'd send all of my little guys up to the middle and make a wall, and send my other hero up to the middle. Now you've got your objectives where you need them. That's it. Now you sit and camp your whole army there because you don't need to kill. Remember that. You don't need to kill. You have the bodies to outplay anyone in this game.
I agree.
Right?
I
agree. You have the ability to win that scenario without having to change the rules. Right?
So you're saying that it's unnecessary, this rule, to have this?
Unnecessary. Totally unnecessary.
I don't think so. But I mean...
But okay, so let me explain to you, right? Before this GX came out, before AOS 2.0 came out, right? We used to play Khorne. Khorne had no wizards. Do you remember that I played every scenario where I played Arcane Power without wizards? And I still won the game. I had no ability to capture those objectives. But you had to play against...
No, you could have an artifact. And that's how you won the game.
Which is still very hard for me. I have one guy with an artifact, and I still was able to win scenarios because you have to.
But you have tools to deal with that.
I used the tools that were in my army, which was I could call people off an objective or push people away from an objective using the Slaughter Priest, right? It's exactly the same as Sons of Behemat army right now.
So, Rahul, my counter to that is you're saying, okay, well, there's a limitation with Sons of Behemat, right? Like they don't have a lot of heroes and they don't have any wizards, right? And so they have to figure out compensating ways of doing that. But your example is Khorne. And the reason why I think that's not a good example is because Khorne, in terms of options, it's a world of difference. Like you can chaff up with lots of guys, you have lots of anvils, you had lots of, like in terms of scrolls, it's like the literal opposite of what Sons of Behemat has. Sons of Behemat had 4 scrolls and very few tool sets. So they need to have, you need to be very tactical with how you use that stuff. With Khorne, you can cover up the weakness by list design because you have literally almost 50 plus scrolls available to you. That is not the case for Sons of Behemat. So like they need like per scroll to have a good number of kind of abilities.
You have an ultimate list build, which doesn't make any sense. Every army has a crux. What you're saying is because they have a crux here, we can rewrite the rules to make that crux go away, which I think is wrong. I mean, your army has a crux. It has 2 scenarios that it can't play properly. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Yeah. Well, there was armies out there that had more than just 2 scenarios that can't play properly.
Okay, well, hold on. Are we making an argument that they're not competitive? Because I think we all agree that they're competitive, right? Yeah, and all you're saying is that it's not necessary.
They don't need this rule to be competitive.
Okay, but let's say that, so they have this rule. Does it suddenly break the way that the game is played because they use this rule?
I think it makes for a very unfair gaming advantage.
Why? Because as you rightly point out, most of the game is played with this rule of more bodies on objectives. So all you're doing is reverting those 2 missions to the default objective grabbing rule set. You're not turning it into like topsy-turvy world where it's like,
but once,
you know what I'm saying?
Go back to this scenario, right? Which is when you design your list, when you're going to a tournament, right? You design your list to be able to do every scenario for pretty much, right? Like we used to make a short list of scenarios that we knew would come up as tournament scenarios and was to build our army so that it could play any of those scenarios, right? What I'm saying is with this, you're going to say when the Sons of Behemat player is looking at the scenarios, it's going to be like these 2 scenarios, I'm going to win them anyway because I'm going to switch it's such you're winning before you've had played at the table.
Oh, okay. So Rahul, maybe this is why we're disagreeing. I'm assuming this designer's commentary is not valid. I'm assuming that that's not going to continue. Yeah. So maybe that's where we're disagreeing. I just assume that that's gone.
So then it's a moot point. We're arguing about nothing.
Well, that's why I was like, why are you arguing so hard? Because I don't actually think this is...
okay, so we were in 2 different lights because I thought that you said the designers.
No. That's totally fucked. Like that's totally fucked up.
Yeah, so I agree. I think a Sons of Behemat player, if they are playing right now, should completely ignore the designer's notes and build your army list based on.
Just assume that it's not going to exist because it's not legit, and it's totally fucked up, and it's auto win, and like it doesn't make sense. But I don't think the rule that where they get like to convert it over is a bad one. It's really very minor, if anything, right? Because it comes into play maybe once in the tournament, maybe, right? And it's
what was interesting for me was Vince was saying that he could switch the rules when he wants to intermittently throughout the game. He'd be like,
yeah, that's right.
Which
that's the rule.
Like, I don't mind that at the beginning of the game you say this is how we're gonna play, and then, we have to agree. And I think but it's going to be hard at a tournament to get that agreement. No, I
don't think they have to agree.
As a person that's playing against the Son of Behemat player, I'd be like, you know what, fuck it. Like you're just playing me. You're playing me on a gotcha. Because here I am. My army is built to play every scenario here. Your army is just switching the scenario. I got you for me, right? So that's how I would approach it. Like personally, as a player, when I'm standing across a Sons of Behemat player that says that to me, I'd be like, sure, you want to play that way, no problem. Right? I don't know if I'm gonna hold you. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to see you in that same light as a competitive player. Like that's just me personally.
Bro, you know that they're playing Sons of Behemat is not an S tier army, right? Like, come on. Like if they're doing well with Sons of Behemat, I say I give them full credit because. There's Zinch and Seraphon and all this other bullshit in the game, and you're gonna talk about Sons of Behemat and be like, "Yo, I don't give you respect." Like, "Yo, you're doing well with Sons of Behemat. You do you, man. That's fucking good." You know what I'm saying? Because it's not an easy army, man. Come on.
You know
it's not an easy army.
I think Sons of Behemat is actually a pretty damn good army.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good.
I don't see why you say that you're doing well with Sons of Behemat, like. You can't play down that Sons of Behemat player, man. He's playing a freaking fantastic army.
It's good. It's good. But it's a thinking man's army. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just smash your way through you can't smash your way to victory.
No, but that's
is what I'm saying.
Point. Like this would be a perfect army for me because I don't believe that you have to smash your way to victory in any army.
Yeah.
I think you have to play a mind game with it. It's always mind games, right? It's about can I make him play to my advantage, right? Like I've done this many times to Fan, unfortunately, playing Beastclaw Raiders. I've baited him into making the move that I want him to make, right? Just by moving, like either by strong flanking or pivot positioning, and then Fan would move into a position where it would be to my advantage, right? So those are the games where you know that you're thinking 3 steps ahead of your opponent, right? Now, there is the random effect where he can win the priority from you, so you always have to play against that. And in the beginning, when I first got into AOS, I had a hard time registering that in my head. Like, that's going to switch.
It's very common.
But now, as I've played more, I've learned how to use that to my advantage, right? To really be at a point where I know if this game switches, if he does get the turn on me, I'm still safe. I'm okay because you always have to play at that.
You have to have that in your mind. If you don't have that in your mind, then you're not a very good AOS player. Like I'm sorry, like if you can't consider the fact that you might lose the double, like they might get double turned, then like what game are you playing, right? Because like it comes up all the time, right? So you have to always consider that. But Yuri over here. He only plays the filth. Like he's a pure filth player. We all know. So we all know. It's
Here
like
we go.
If I get at least 4-1 this or 5-0, then I don't want to play.
I'm out.
This is bullshit. This is bullshit. He's a win it all class type of guy. He was going to use the designer's commentary. Raw rules is written. Like he had no problem.
That weighted dice that roll 6s.
Yeah. He was going to get you on his channel, Rahul, to film a bat report. It was going to be 3 places of arcane power, and he's going to watch you cry.
Oh, that used to happen. Remember when Josh used to play with his Beast of Chaos, and would roll for the mission, and obviously Josh had the fastest moving wizards right in the game. So like 16 inches wizards, and he would roll the die, and you'd get a place of arcane power. I believe like out of 6 games, we probably played 4 games place of arcane power, right? And against this beast army, and I'd always be playing my corn army. It'd be like always in the back foot, right? It was always like the first 2 turns were like Josh is dominant, and then I just pull back, right? So it's all about how fast you can pull back. But yeah, my favorite game against Josh was when I lent him my own Chimera, which he summoned, and he killed my Slaughter Priest. I was like, what the hell? Yeah.
You're not allowed to borrow those anymore. Get this off the table.
Epics. Those are epic failures right there. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to this last thing that I wanted to look at here was the mercenaries, right? So taking them as mercenaries. So you can take like the Kraken Eater as Gargant, Mega Gargant. So first thing is if you take them as a mercenary, you don't get your command point at the beginning of the game. You pay a penalty for that. Also, if you take them as mercenaries, you cannot take any allies. So that's another deterrent. But if you do take them, I believe that each Gargant only fits in a certain army. So like the Kraken Eater, which is the guy who can kick the objectives, is part of order or destruction. Whereas I think he might be really good with Iron Jaws here. Maybe. I don't know. Be interesting.
Wouldn't that be destruction?
Yeah. Because he would be able to kick the objective back towards my 100 Ard boys and say, okay, let's go play some games here. Maybe. I don't know. Just joking.
You've moved so fast. I don't know why you would care.
No, not if you're playing Ard boys. Ard boys move the slowest.
Oh, yeah. I think soon as a Sigmar would use him, kick him back, and then you got like Eternal Guard.
The worst is like you kick them back.
Phoenix Guard, right?
Then you got all the Cardinal Overlords, all the sky hooks. You just kick the objective to the sky hooks and say, "Okay, come get him." And then
he just does a bicycle kick with the objective backwards, and it's like
like that would just be wrong. Anyway, and then you got the. I believe this guy is a War Stomper. So this guy can be taken in Chaos and Destruction. So you can pretty much take them in all the Destruction armies, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then you got the Gatebreaker would be in the Death faction.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting.
So Order wins because they get the best one, and
yeah.
Another thing to note. That they lose their allegiance abilities as well, so they're not counted as 20 anymore.
Right.
They lose all the synergies.
That sucks.
I would, argue that Gatebreaker would be a good addition to the Nighthaunt army because they don't have, tanky heroes.
Yeah.
So this, other than that, you're losing a command point. You're not getting any synergies, any allegiance abilities. Is it worth taking them as a mercenary? I don't think so, but it's my personal view.
It depends, right? It all comes down to the army build, right?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'd be very tough. Very tough. It also takes a leader slot and a Behemat slot, right?
Yeah. And they're like 500 points, right?
Yeah.
You might as well take Gotrek in order army versus the correct.
Gotrek is such a blender, man. And he's so tough, right? So just slow. I don't know if these guys are worth anything as a mercenary in the unit, to be honest. I think maybe Nighthaunt is a good call, Yuri, because all of their heroes are so weedy,
so fragile.
They're like all 5-ups, like 5 wounded dudes. It's like awful, right? So I could see.
And now having mortar crawlers, catapult with 5 flat damage, they can just snipe off heroes.
Exactly.
Right.
Who takes that?
You're
cool.
No, I sold all my OBR. Andy.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Andy, the filth monster over here.
Right now, I only have my Ogre Mortribes, and I have my Flesh Eater Court still, which I think is very interesting army to play against this Gargan army. Because I outpaced this army so fast.
I think you would give this army, like, I think you would give Sons of Behemat fits. Just complete fits.
Yeah.
It would be so tough.
Very tough matchup, I think, for Sons of Behemat against my Flesh Eater Court.
It would be tough. It'd be really tough. Because you just hit so hard, right? And you have a lot of bodies, and you can zone, and you're fast. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, and
there's very little time for them to do anything.
I can pick the fight, right? Because I move in my hero phase, and then I move again in my regular phase. Yeah. So I'm covering like the 28 inches before I even charge. Right.
Yuri, what do you think of that matchup? Flesh Eater Court's Sons of Behemat.
I think only one way to find out. It's to actually have this match. But unless you take the artifact that makes Kraken Eater a wizard, I think with a chalice, you can just, grab objective left and right, tie them up, and you'll have an easy win.
Well, the problem is, Yuri, that the Flesh Eater Court player that you know is a coward and won't face you.
I love you. Yeah, I love you.
The cowardice. He's shaking in his boots.
I would play anyone right now. Just this pandemic. I mean, I'm the one who brought Conquest together. To have the best players play in my basement so that we can become better players. That was the whole reason Conquest was formed, right? And I think, Yuri, you can attest to the fact that since you've joined Conquest, it's been a lot more competitive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by all means. Like a next level, for sure.
So, I mean, I wouldn't back down. And the only problem right now is with this whole pandemic and with my daughter having asthma, it's so critical to be so safe
man.
Right now.
Oh, yeah.
You can't mess around, man. Can't mess around. I mean, you're stuck in a hotel room in Halifax. You can't even eat a donaire like that easily. Like, how are you supposed to get to your donaires? Like,
no, it's actually Airbnb, and I'm flying out finally tomorrow. So
Okay, so no donaires then.
Can't wait. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Can't wait.
Wait, you've been filming battle reports this whole time. How have you been doing
that? So we pre-filmed a couple.
I'm just kidding.
My brother, we had some guests over last week as well.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
So I'm curious, guys, if we were to summarize, and I don't want to conclude this episode, but in terms of the competitiveness of this army, where would you place Son of Behemoth? In which tier?
I'd say second tier.
Okay, being
like SABC, like type of thing, or
being overpowered, A, competitive, B less.
I'm giving it a solid B.
Yeah, me too.
Solid B.
Yeah.
Unless I'm missing things and things are discovered, but there's not so much to kind of like unpack. Well, where do you have it?
I was thinking about B. But then I always thought that the Beastclaw Raiders would be low A. And we had a battle report where we played Beastclaw Raiders versus Sons of Behemoth. And Sons of Behemoth just, destroyed Beastclaw Raiders. And it's, but this essentially changed my perception about this army.
Okay, so, Yuri, I'm going to tell you a simple rule that I have. You have to play 5 game matches, different scenarios, against the same army before you can make that judgment. One game doesn't count. Because you can always say there's always the dice, there's always the luck, there's always that factor. So I say, if you want to make that call, you take the same Beastclaw Raider guy, you play 5 games, 5 different scenarios, and then you draw your conclusion.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
That's how. But, when I test when I test an army list, when I build a brand new army list, I play that army list 5 different matches before I make a change. I don't change that list without playing those 5 matches, because I always, if you start to doubt your list based on one match, it's almost irrelevant. So that's the way. When I build a tournament list, I always take that list and I play like a variety of matches before I make adjustments. right? If I'm prepping for a tournament, right?
Right.
Because you really need to learn your list. You really need to hone down what is causing your list to break, right? And that's how, like when I started with the Juggernaut army, when I played 21 Juggernauts, I wouldn't think of dropping in a wizard into that list. But only when I played a couple of matches, then I realized, okay, I do need a wizard. And I dropped in the wizard on Manticore, right? And then from there, that became my tournament list. Remember, that was back in when we went to LVO, right?
Yeah.
So it's a really weird thing to have in a corn army. And lots of people looked at me sideways for bringing out a wizard or a Manticore in a corn army. But he became such a critical part to my list being so effective in so many of the scenarios, right?
And that's a Mike Simeon thing.
Yeah. So
Mark Unrugal.
You have to always worry, like you always have to play the same list. If you're prepping for a tournament, play the same list a couple of times. Even if you get beaten up really badly, always go back and play that same matchup again. Because until you play it a couple of times, that's the only time when you realize, okay, it's like when I played Slanesh, when Slanesh came out, they rocked like they were beating my Juggernauts left, right, and center. And then I had to switch up. I switched up my whole corn army to an all mortal army. Right? Like I put 100 bodies on the table. Right? With war. You remember that list that we took to Warhammer team tournament? It was all just all the rat monsters.
Oh yeah, you had a bunch of these guys.
And that was my only counter against Slanesh. It was my counter against Slanesh, but I had to make that call after I got wiped off the table 4 times, I think, by Slanesh. Right.
But Rahul, you should have learned your lesson before the book even dropped. You know what I'm saying? Because smart people were on Slanesh.
I'll be very honest with you. When it comes to meta, I really learn on the table. I don't really learn by reading books. My learning comes from what I play. The more I play, the better I get. And then the more fine-tuned I get into a list. That's why I think when I play Corn, I'm very, very confident. And my Flesh Eater Courts, if you ask me to play anything outside of the list that I built, I'm really bad at Flesh Eater Courts. Like, if you gave me all Terror Guys and I've tried it, I can never win with that list because I just don't know how to play that army. But if I'm playing my Flesh Eater Courts list that I've built in my head, I know exactly what to do in every scenario. Exactly. Like, I have it mentally so that when I'm placing my guys down on the table, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the game. It's like there's nothing that. It's just a matter of now making the opponent bend to my will. That's it, right?
You and your cannibal armies. Oh, you're all about cannibals. I love cannibals. My name's Rahul. I only like evil cannibal armies.
Yes, I do. I won't lie. I'm not lying. I am a cannibalistic kind of nature.
Yes, you love cannibalism. That's your criteria. Oh, look, I play ogres. They eat anything. Doesn't matter.
All right, so we're going to wrap up here, I think, tonight. But before we wrap up, I just wanted to give a couple of shout-outs. So there's 2 shout-outs, obviously, to Bulldog Hammer, and we have Yuri online. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, taking Andy's spot. And yeah, Bulldog Hammer, I put the link in the description to the latest battle report, which is Sons of Behemat versus the stupid light elves.
Lumineth.
Yeah, I don't know. I the day I saw those models was the day I stopped believing in AOS. But anyway, I also wanted to give a shout out to Warhammer Weekly. I did watch their 2 reviews. First on the new models that were shown, which was part of the news, and the second one was the Sons of Behemat 2.5 hour book review or whatever it was. It was quite long, but it was very informative, and I love Vince, so that was awesome. So I wanted to give these 2 shout outs. I wanted to say thank you once again for Yuri for joining us. It was awesome.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me.
Hey,
it was a pleasure.
Great for you to join up, and I guess we'll see you guys next Friday again. All right.
See ya.
Take care.
Have a good week. Bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.